put your work in. I built this all from the ground up. 16, I got no love. Father moved to a new city. Knew then I had to man up. Got no time for that bullshit. Had to find what my truth is. I put my thoughts into my words. Now people everywhere use it. Cause people been looking up to me. Can't control, but I gotta lead. Never post about drugs and money, cause that's not what I'm supposed to be. Always post my true self. Hope somebody can find help. Getting thousands of messages. Say my music saved it from mental health or suicide. Man, what a life. The reason why I stay up at night. Cause more fans means more pressure. One wrong step, it's do or die. But this the life that I chose. I can't turn back anymore. I came so far, it's been insane. I'm thankful for every little thing. Got a long road that's ahead of me, but everything was meant to be. I finally gotta just let it out, and with that I'm finally free.
Beat the pussy up, then I beat the eyes too. Got a lot to prove, L Woods with the law school. I am not a wave, I'm a monsoon. Send her on the way after she blow me like some hot soup. She break her back just to get the right picture and it looks great. Ooh, I love the shape, I swear to God, it's hard to look away. Prove to me you got it, girl, I gotta see how that pudding tastes. Got me in the comments saying shit I probably shouldn't say. I like girls who earn a bunch. Cook me up some lunch, they cook my book. She work for Ernst & Young. And even if she is the perfect one, I couldn't find emotional connections on worth a ton. I'm somewhere secluded where the service sucks. Surface up, beaching and I'm tired getting Turkish love. Server pulling up umbrella drink, I had to purchase one.
I'm not at the beach, this is a bathtub.
Look, shit bang, going my way for a hot sec. They want me to cool off, nigga, not yet. I'm a 10 and change, I gotta set it straight. I had to drop a couple Williams on the tennis chain. Had to make the image levitate to keep them entertained. I might shoot my shot at LMA. Oh, y'all thought this was a joke. I did not follow directions, bitch, I made it on my own. I'm interested in making ends opposed to making friends. Double bags, I've been paranoid, having the safest sex, I'll take the check. Finishing this drink should only take a sec, but Mark just cut me off, he told me that I go on stage in 10. Hey. Walk out to my own shit on the main event. Vinci my cologne after the show, she told me that shit was a favorite sin. Sprint event is spacious, we could take it friends. What happened next, you could take a guess.
Our lordship says a few words to the general public.
Wait. Man, I don't know what to say. And I'm like, what more can I say? What more can I say? If green's the color of your money, then put that broccoli in my plate. I've been working really hard and giving y'all niggas a reason to hate. Got a meeting with success, don't waste my time, I can't relate. Hot swats, nigga, terminating haters. Started in the bleachers, now we ballin' like the Lakers. Back up on the scene, reppin' for my team. Rippin' up the industry, I'm on that Wolverine. Put me on vinyl records, cause we dropping the classics. Niggas can't see me like Mr. Mugu with no glasses. Useless, anybody thinking that they beating us is crazy as Steven looking through a pair of binoculars. What more can I, what more can I, what more can I say, what more can I? What more can I say? What more can I say? Can I say? Yeah, I'm really out here doing it, killing it, crushing and ripping it. Put your hands in the air if you feeling it. Mic in my hand, but damn, but more can I? Royalty, so I'm gonna reign forever. Bring your umbrella. I'm smoking these rappers like tobacco stuffed in a cigarette. You can't be the man. Understand? Fly like Peter Pan. Baby, I'm a star. Hope you get the picture on Instagram. So yeah, what more can I say? You listening to a monster, no beast by Dre. I've been patiently watching the throne, but I'm no Kanye. Cause good music's an understatement, I get better by the day. So how could you not notice I'm gifted like Christmas stocking? They calling me Mr. Rolly cause I got everyone watching. Yo, stay above you like a top floor of podcast. Still kill the beat like I'm John Q. Hawkins. What more can I? What more can I? What more can I say? What more can I? What more can I say? What more can I say? What more can I say? What more can I say?
Let's go. Drama. Yeah. Fuck it up.
Y'all is some renegades, fucking up the game. All the lanes, all ain't ready for these flames. Getting deadly in these games. From my lane, but you know my name, renegades, fucking up the game. Getting stuck.
Y'all know my name, bitch. Y'all think I'm famous. Yo, this ridiculous, meticulous. Yeah, I'm ready, 10 deep, we dangerous. Yo, all about $1 and I bring no scheme. Hold on when you call it right.
Se nos presenta un nuevo desafío. Lancémonos a por él. Saltemos más alto. Corramos más lejos, más rápido. Elevemos el listón. Sin regatear esfuerzos, energías o sacrificios. Juguemos en equipo como siempre hemos hecho. Sin importar género, edad, raza o condición. Todos unidos. Madrid, donde el deporte es capital.
En Imagine tenemos algo que confesar a la sociedad. No tenemos ni idea de lo que somos. No somos una red social, pero tenemos una gran comunidad. Tampoco somos una ONG, pero somos activos con el cuidado del medio ambiente. Tampoco somos un banco exactamente, al menos como tú te lo imaginas. Y es que en Imagine no sabemos lo que somos, pero hay una cosa que sí sabemos. Lo que hacemos. Imagine, somos lo que hacemos.
Hello and welcome to Spain and the nation's capital for Urban Sports Madrid, Madrid Urban Sports, and this is going to be incredible. We have 350 athletes descending on the city, competing from 28 different countries in multiple disciplines, skateboard, BMX, scooter, and new for this year, we have our breakdancing competition as well. But the first event of the day is going to be BMX Women's Pro Park. And I'm glad to say joining me all the way from sunny Marseille is a man who doesn't really need an introduction, but I'm going to anyway. Thank you for joining me, Catfish.
Thanks, Mark. I'm super stoked to be here. Really excited. It's going to be a really good contest.
Yeah, I mean, from watching the practice and qualifiers yesterday, it was on fire. It's the only way to say, both in heat, because it is super hot out here, and in the riding. Really, really impressive standard. The running list was a little bit odd, or the finals list and the start list for today was a little bit, I expected to see some people slightly higher, but that's the way things go, right?
You're absolutely right, and this is a really interesting time for competitive BMX because everybody, outside of 2 weeks ago at the World Cup, nobody had competed for 2 years. COVID had basically shut down everything. So what's happened is we've seen a lot of these riders that have worked really, really hard in that downtime, and they've come back into the 2022 season with a lot of new tricks.
Yeah, I mean, that has given a lot of people time to have a little bit of a reset, work on some new tricks, and you're not feeling that you're losing other tricks. You can work on the stuff that's got a high difficulty rating, I suppose, or that's going to score high in the Olympics and things like that. And I mean, that's where we're at now in all of these competitions. People are accruing points for the Olympics, which is, you know, until 2 years ago was a fantasy.
Absolutely, and it's a machine now, and it's a finely tuned machine that these athletes really have to pick and choose what their game plan is. Because 5 years ago, you could just come to a BMX contest and say, I'm going to huck it and I'm going to risk it all, possibly get hurt. But now with this point series, they have to be very, very careful in what tricks they're doing, the danger level, because obviously they're accruing points for the entire year. One little mistake on a course like this could end them for the season.
Yeah, and I mean, that's how tight it all is, and it's all the trick choice and working on a run. Usually just turn up, have fun, throw yourself around, you finish where you finish. You might get paid, you might not, but now it's got a little bit more of an implication against it. And I think this whole Olympic thing, you see riders are kind of split. Some people are taking it super serious, and some people are still quite chilled on that front, and they're like, you know what? If I get through, whatever, I'm just going to go and ride.
Absolutely. And something else we need to talk about is the fact that they haven't competed for 2 years. Nerves play into their riding for sure, especially with the stakes that are involved here. So, I think what we saw 2 weeks ago in Montpellier were some riders that had historically been relatively consistent. The pressure got to them, and they didn't perform the way they wanted to. So I'm kind of looking at this Madrid final as a redemption for some of these females that are in the finals today.
Yeah, a bit of a second chance to redeem yourself. And I mean, from the riding I saw yesterday, that was quite apparent, I think.
Yeah, like I said before, the level of riding that these females are at is at an all-time high, and this final is completely stacked. Looking at some of these women, and I really am drawn to the two Colombians because they're pretty much the newest members of the finals crew, because the rest of these women have competed against each other for the last couple of years prior to COVID. But the two Colombians, this is their first real shot at a series where they're gonna see how many points they can get throughout the year, and both of them have been riding absolutely incredible. Obviously, Liz winning the World Cup last weekend.
Yeah, and I mean, we're seeing different riders rise up through the ranks, and you're seeing some people really pushing forward, and it's nice to see the Colombians are part of that. They're forging their way forward, slowly qualifying higher and higher and higher, and just getting up there and saying, hey, I'm here, and I mean business.
And I think something else that should be talked about is the camaraderie between these women. Granted that this is a massive contest. This is, steps working towards the Olympics. And I think in other sports, there would be a lot of animosity towards each other, people that you're competing against. But these women collectively are such just a group of positive energy, because they're obviously working individually, but they're also collectively trying to push female BMX in the right direction. I think they're really doing that. And like I said, this is a really big show. There's a lot at stake in this contest, but behind the scenes, they're all supporting each other. They all want each other to ride to their capabilities. And I think that's one of the awesome aspects about BMX. It kind of doesn't get shown on television as much because, we're focused on competition, but all of these women are supporting each other to the very end.
Yeah, and you're probably going to hear them screaming louder for each other than the crowd today. That's what it was like yesterday. Sure. And I mean, we drew quite a big crowd in qualifiers yesterday, and I think it's only going to get bigger, but it is really hot out here. How do you think the heat is going to affect the riders? You can see there, Charlotte just mopping her brow with a cold bottle of water.
That's it. There's your Olympic gold medalist, Charlotte Worthington. That's the most important thing. I think staying cool, and even more important is staying hydrated, because especially some of these riders that aren't used to temperatures like this or normally riding in temperatures like this, you forget to drink water. And I've seen it happen many, many times at contests where they get dehydrated because you have the nerves, you're thinking about your run, you're sweating, you're not thinking, hey, maybe I should down an extra bottle of water.
Yeah, 100%. I heard the MCs, if my Spanish translation is right, saying drink lots of water out there, and saying it to the crowd as well, But there is a bit of a breeze. You can see the leaves there blowing backwards and forwards. And certainly in the commentators' booth here, it's a grateful breeze. And I'm sure the riders out there are going to love having that blown across the back of their necks.
That's exactly it. What's the official temperature in Madrid right now?
between 33 and 36, depending on what phone you look on and what temperature you're taking it from. So I think it's safe to say hot, but it's only going to get hotter. We're going to see around 37 a little bit later today, and tomorrow is going to be about 38. So some serious heat coming in. You know, not as hot as the south. I've heard that it's around 44 at the moment. So yeah, I'm glad we're a little bit further north, because 44, I think I'd be a puddle of human on the floor.
That's impossible to ride. And so to all of our friends back in America, they're riding about 93, 94 degrees. I know everybody in America doesn't use the metric system, why I don't understand, but it's about 94, 95 degrees in Madrid to my non-metric fans out there.
So we got our riders making their way onto the skate park. You can see from the scale there, some of these ramps are so big, and it really screams go big or go home, I think, to use that old classic.
Absolutely. I mean, just in the last 4 or 5 years, along with the progression of BMX, has come the progression of ramp building. And some of the crews, specifically here in Europe, that build some of the competitive courses, they're all competitive BMX riders themselves or former riders, so they know the dimensions. And I had a chance to ride the Feast course last 2 weeks ago, and all the transitions are just absolutely perfect. I mean, obviously at a world-class level event, you're going to have a world-class level stage, and that's exactly what this is.
Yeah, and this is the second year that this course has been used, so they've got the hindsight of seeing what went down last year, what's capable, and that's always quite nice. But you know, you kind of get a little inside line. Okay, that gap's doable, this is doable, and seeing people do things always helps.
For sure, and a lot of these riders, a lot of these females have training facilities in their respective countries, and they try to replicate or come as close to replicating what the course for the next year is going to be. So they kind of have something to practice on in the downtime. There's Analia Zakaria. We were talking about her. I didn't know if she was going to ride. She took a really hard crash. It's nice to see her in the final. She's from Argentina. She's an absolute beast.
Yeah, second place qualifier. Going through in heat number 1. This is all of our riders from Argentina. Lots of big smiles out there today as well. Always good to see, and maybe more smiles with the women.
Yeah, rightfully so. Like, again, I mean, I always try to remind the women as the contest that I'm at. I'm like, there are young women all over the world that are watching this, and this is their view of BMX for the first time. So it's you know, obviously they're doing it to compete, but they're also changing lives. With every time we have something like this, every time we have a live stream of females, there's young women out there that are going to get involved with BMX because of it, and that just makes me so happy.
So qualifying 4th through Teresa Fernánde, Miranda from Spain.
Easily the best park rider to ever come from Spain. And here are the Colombian twins that are just absolutely, they've had one heck of a year. They just got picked up by Red Bull less than a year ago during the pandemic, which speaks volumes. And you know, that they don't come from much in Colombia, but they have been working their butts off. And I just think it's so cool that, and it's also kind of rare to have, you know, twin sisters both riding at this at a professional level in any sport.
Yeah, 100%. And then you see Charlotte Worthington from Great Britain.
Olympic gold medalist looks like.
Yep. Sometimes quite a weight round your neck, that gold medal, but holding strong.
And then here's your number 1 qualifier, Nikita Ducarroz. She has also been having an absolutely amazing year. She's representing Switzerland, currently lives in the United States, but she also has the honor of having one of those Olympic medals. She walked away with the bronze in 2021.
Yeah, it almost seems strange to be saying these are Olympic medalists because, you know,
right?
These are some of the first competitions that have happened after the Olympics, and to be able to say, you know, coming through with a bronze or with a gold is amazing. Like, I'm stoked to say that.
And it's crazy too, you know, like if you talk to Charlotte, she's just a normal woman. It's not, you think that like, oh my gosh, having this Olympic gold medal, but she's the most humble person in the world. And that's one of the other awesome aspects about our sport, taking it to this level where we are really, really changing lives.
Yeah, 100%. And it's nice to see that people don't let it go to their head, because these sports don't allow it. When someone's like
Exactly.
that, they're kind of pushed aside. And everybody, it's a big family. It's amazing to see. And as you can see from that card on the screen just now, we've got two 60-second runs, best run counts. So the way you would play it, would you just go all in on run number one, knowing that you've got a backup run, or do you do a safety run first and then you go all in on the second run?
See,
There's
that's
two
a
different
great
ways.
question. That's a great question, especially when nobody's ridden yet, because Corey Coffey's going to be the first rider, and she's going to have to set the precedent. So somebody might have a plan to say, okay, I'm going to go nuts my first one. The rider before you throws down a crazy run. Your game plan is going to change because you don't want to risk crashing your first run. So you maybe want to get a safe run out of the way. So it's going to be really interesting. It's, that's the other aspect about BMX competitively. It's a mind game as well. Here we go with Corey Coffey. Corey, one of the absolute legends in BMX. She represents the United States. Corey is actually the first female to ever do a backflip on a BMX bike.
That's a pretty big statement right there. First ever female to do a backflip. That's a great...
Yes. And I wish I knew the year. It was close to 20 years ago. And she has just really, really stayed on it. She lives in Detroit, Michigan with her husband and her kids. She has a really crazy skate park in her backyard. Don't know if we're going to get a backflip out of her. We haven't seen a backflip out of Corey Coffey for a while, but she's definitely stayed healthy, and she's clearly stayed competitive because she's here in the finals.
Yeah, looking really smooth on the course. And like we said, some of these ramps are absolutely huge, and just like rolling is scary. You get up the top of that thing, just rolling in on it is gnarly. So, staying this smooth and staying this consistent, looking like she's just chilling around the park and enjoying it right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, she's just going to get a solid first run in. Maybe we'll get some magic out of her in run number two. But again, she has to watch her three competitors in this heat go as well. Check out some of the replays from Corey. Catches some air. That's called a tabletop. When the rider turns the bike sideways, we call it a tabletop because you want to get your bike flat like a table. There's a nice little one-hander over that box jump. That box jump is scary. I've seen a lot of bad crashes on that because it has what's called a knuckle over the top of it. So sometimes riders aren't able to make it over. Their front or back tire hits that, and unfortunately they fall to the front. So it's going to have to, the riders are really going to have to stay on it here. Score coming in for Corey Coffey right there, 21 even. And we will move on to the number one park rider in Argentina, Analia Zacarias.
It's so hard to be the first rider in any competition because you are almost like all eyes are on you. The second rider, at least you've got a rider out of the way, and you're like, okay, let's get this done.
That's exactly it. Analia is another one that's been working really, really hard in the last 2 years. Big tabletop air. You can see the difference between her and Corey's air. These are things that the judges look for. It's called an X up over the spine, look back. What I like about Analia is she's also constant action. You see how she's trying to score on almost everything she touches. She's still doing it.
Yeah, hit on every ramp.
Yeah, and a dead air is when that was a dead air where you don't do anything in the air, and you don't lose points for it, but you don't gain points for it either. So that's something that some of the upper riders, the higher echelon riders, are very, very apt at doing, where they almost every ramp they touch, they're going to do a trick on.
Yeah, and those judges want to see the use of course. They want to see the tricks that are done, the difficulty, how they're executed. And it's so important at this level to do, like you say, hit every ramp and do a trick on every single ramp.
Exactly, because as we get deeper towards your number one qualifiers, you're going to see that where they know that every single ramp they touch, they're going to score on. And that's, again, where conditioning comes into play. We never, 5 years ago, we never had to worry about conditioning with BMX because we just go out, ride, have fun and ride. Now that it's competitive and countries are behind you, these riders really, really are in the best shape of their lives.
Here's those replays. And showing, if you are conditioning and you can hit those ramps, you're just going to start seeing the scores come up. I mean, this score is undoubtedly going to be better. It'll be interesting to see where it is because the judges, they can sometimes go a little bit too high or too low on the first scores, and that sets the score for the rest of the competition as well, right?
Absolutely. And I got to give a big shout out to the judges because they have the hardest job at any BMX competition. All the judges are former professional BMX riders or riders, and they have to see everything. They'll take into account everything. Even if your foot just slips off the pedal when you land, that goes into account.
Yeah, 100%. And all those little nuances that no one else will see. You know, these guys live and breathe BMX, so they know exactly what there is to see and what there isn't to see, what will affect that score and what won't, and what will boost it right up.
Absolutely. And now we go from Argentina to Chile. This is the #1 park rider in Chile. She's been dominant in BMX Park for a long time. Her name is Macarena Perez. We call her Maca, starting off with a big toboggan over the box jump. She made the move to California, tuck no hander over the box. She made the move to California. She lives at Woodward Camp, one of the premier training camps in the United States.
Yeah, and that's really showing, I think. You know, there's no messing around, coming straight out, attacking the course.
Absolutely. Maca was one of the first females to really get tail whip airs. We might see one in her run here, but she has such great tail whip airs. A lot of the riders are just using that bank for turnaround.
And that bank is absolutely huge. The cameramen stood on top of that thing are actually strapped in because it's so high.
It's a big, big bank. So it looks like Maca had another 13 seconds and she called it off. So this is interesting here, Mark, because a lot of times, like we had talked about, what they have a game plan for run #1. If something goes awry and it doesn't, the run, even it could be something little, they don't do one trick, the rider will stop their run because they don't want to waste any more energy because they know this isn't the run they wanted. Maca had 13 seconds left in her run right there, and she called it off. That 13 seconds could be super valuable. So, and it looks like she might be
suffering a little bit from the heat, maybe. Yeah.
That's another amazing BMX rider from Chile, Victor Munoz, her coach while he's here.
But you know, still getting the score that bumps her into first place so far, even with you know, an incomplete score, which can really hurt your overall judged run, because obviously you need to complete the whole thing. That's one of the things. Missing tricks and not completing your run can really affect the score, but to be currently sat in first place, that's good going.
That is good going. So now she can sit back and watch.
So our only rider from Spain, Teresa Fernánde.
She is the #1 park rider in Spain. And what I love about Fernandez is she makes it look so good. Spanish riders are historically known for having tons of style. And when she came on the scene a couple years ago, she just absolutely just had style all over the place. As we see right here, nice tire grab. She's a really good trail rider, and her coach is actually one of the most famous Spanish park riders named Sergio Leos. Oh, right just there, just hanging the back wheel, yeah.
You can really see that trail style coming through in that run as well. You can see the rhythm, like the whole back-to-back airs. You can see that coming across from that run. And I think it's to get a full, complete run, that could be a high-scoring one.
If she keeps scoring. There's 8 seconds left. She's flying out. And that'll be, whoa. That thing is massive. I couldn't really tell how big it was until right then and there.
It's huge. It's right behind me. You almost need mountaineering equipment to get up that thing.
Oh my gosh. Starting to run off, that's called a no-footed can-can. That's called an X-up, which when the rider turns the bars 180 degrees and their arms form an X. So to our fans out there that don't know BMX.
I slammed so hard back in the day doing an X-up, and that put an end to my BMXing start. Carried on with skateboarding, I was like, you know what? That is gnarly. That hurt. I just didn't uncross my arms. So 38.01 for first is the high line right now.
So run #2 from the American Corey Coffey. There's another great look at the X-up. It took Mark out years ago. And Corey, nice one-hander. But Corey is another great ambassador for female BMX. You know, I think one of the things with BMX is historically it's been a male-driven sport. And it's like I mentioned earlier, all it takes is for a young female to see another female riding and she thinks, oh my gosh, this isn't just for boys. I can do this. And Corey is one of the ones that when we're at skate parks and she's a little girl has a question, Corey is right there to help, get her on a BMX bike. She's one of the best advocates for BMX.
Yeah, and there's going to be loads of people starting just from seeing this today. And, every single one of these female riders are an ambassador for their sport.
Absolutely. I'll give a big shout out to our friends at the Bloom BMX. It's a great Instagram page for any females that want to get into BMX. It's a non-profit, all for pushing the progression of female BMX. So check out the Bloom BMX if you guys have a second.
So another full run there from Corey. As I said before, 38.01 is the score to beat to jump into first place. Maka currently sitting up there.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the riders are feeling right now. I mean, it's so hard to ride BMX when you're hot and sweaty and in the sun. And to ride at this level is just, it's wild. It's why these riders are the best in the world.
So I think for run number 2, the nerves are getting shaken off a little bit. The crowd's still watching. You can see it starting to fill up here in the Central Park. And I think once you got that run out of the way, you're like, okay, cool. You can center yourself, concentrate a little bit more.
Exactly. You see Analia here feeling the vibe. She's another one. Again, I have so much respect for these women because, it takes guts to ride BMX. And these women have taken some hard slams and they keep coming back for more because they love it. So she's going to send it here in this run. She's got to. If she wants to get on that podium, nice turn down over the spine. That what's called a look back into that big bank. Little Euro stylish air right there. There's that tabletop again. You want to get the bike flat like a table. Great looking X-up. That one will score high.
Looks like there's more like ampage, like more power going on in this run for sure.
Well, for sure, because she knows that it's all on the line right here. She's got 20 seconds. She's going to keep riding. And that's the other thing these riders need to keep in mind too. Because it's a point series, you want to use that time because even if you don't make the finals, even if you don't make the podium, all these points count towards the Olympics.
Yeah, you're still accruing those points and there's the whip.
That'll score high for her. Tail whip fly out. Again, 5 years ago, Mark, there were no females in the world doing tail whips. It makes me so happy to see the level of riding that these women are at.
Yeah, 100%.
Highlights. Oh my gosh, super clicked X-up. These are the things that the judges look for. Great look at what we call a turn down because you're turning the handlebars down. Looked like she was going for a turn down there, opted not to. So where's that gonna place her? She's currently in second place, 35.67. She needs a 38.1 or better.
See that Woodward sticker? If you grow up skating that place or riding that place or just being in that place, you're going to progress. The support that place will give you, awesome.
For sure.
You see our cameraman there in full mountaineering equipment because that thing's so high.
Gear. Wow.
Ready to abseil down.
That's so funny. We get run number 2 from the Chilean phenom, Maca Perez. She's going to send it here. She would love to make it on the podium. Let's see what she's got. Currently in first place. Toboggan over the big box.
That's a long way, that transfer.
That was a wild transfer. Holy cow. I don't know if anybody's done that one yet. Great looking X up on the big corner. Again, as you mentioned, Mark, these ramps are massive.
I think this is what she wanted from run number 1 that didn't quite come off. It feels like there's a lot more hype going into this one.
Yeah, that could have been it. She wanted that big gap. Again, Mac is one of the ones that has the tail whip on lock. You can get a tail whip air out of her.
15 seconds remaining on the clock. Maybe having a breather halfway through the run there.
And it could be heat exhaustion as well. Like she's hitting the quarter, we might get it.
There we go.
Perfect.
Yes.
Absolutely perfect tail whip. So with tail whips, Mark, the judges, I mean, when you kick the bike around, your feet can land in a couple of different places. They can land on the cranks, they can land on the sprocket, but landing on the pedals is absolutely what the judges like to see. And that was darn near perfect. Great tuck, no-handed transfer. She's currently in first, but I think she's definitely going to stay there, if not extend her lead, getting cooled down from the coach.
Yeah, I think that was like what we were saying. When you were in first place after run number 1, run number 2 is like, okay, cool. I can still get toppled off, but I can improve on run number 1 at a low risk factor, I guess.
Exactly, and she definitely did that, jumping up even higher, staying in first place. And
like you say, getting the gold standard of landings on the pedals on that tail whip. You know, that's something that you can really, the judges are going to take that and just go, you know what, no one out there's doing that. And to do it that well, that score is going to be stamped into the paper, I reckon.
Exactly, because they look for perfection, and landing tail whips to the pedals is how you land a perfect tail whip. Spain's phenomenon coming in now, starting off with a no-footed can-can. Whoa, that was an awesome toboggan air. Oh, that was called a knack-knack. Again, and that was a can-can, the opposite of a knack-knack. Knack-knack spelled backwards is can-can.
So already improving on run number 1, I think that was maybe where she hung up last time on the spine.
She's getting clean hits as well. Nice can-can air. This, if she stays on the bike, this is going to be a high-scoring run. Again, we talked about that style. She's an incredible trail rider as well. Spends a lot of time at Eurocamp. Oh, wow, tire grab right there. She is really mixing it up.
Yeah, really good trick selection in there, mixing it up, and I think pretty much hitting every single ramp on the park there, bar maybe the main big jump.
And it's wild too because she has got a massive trick repertoire as well. Let's look at some of this magic here. No footer to no footed can-can. Excuse me, that was a 2-trick combo. That was about a 2.5 foot toboggan X up. Again, she's got such great style. Again, the judges also look for where the back tire is landing. As we mentioned before, if your back tire, we call it casing, it slows you down. See where she went, 32 for first, coming in now. You might get it before I do. 42.
So 43.34 to take first place.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Jumping up into first place. Again, when we talked about constant action, the judges obviously rewarding her for tricking almost every ramp that she touched.
Yeah, 100%. You can see, you know, you see it, you get it. That's how easy it is. If you're going to put down that amount of her hurting on the course, you're going to jump up into first. But we've still got heat number 2 to come through as well.
And there are some heavy, heavy hitters. Your top 4 qualifiers. We talked about the 2 Colombian sisters. And then we have your Olympic gold and Olympic bronze medalists in this heat. This is the second competition they've competed in since the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, not much has happened since such a big competition went on, and everyone's almost still on the high of it, but it's like, well, we need to keep that going. We need the consistency.
Exactly.
And, you know, 2 pretty big competitions back-to-back is really great for the riders because, like you say, a bit of redemption maybe if you didn't do so good in the last competition. And maybe just a little bit more experience for some of the less experienced riders coming through.
For sure, and I think that's probably the most important aspect of this is that to be a great competitive BMX rider, you have to go to competitions. You have to lose, you have to, you know, compete badly to understand how everything works. We've seen it time and time again where the seasoned veterans can come in. Nikita and Charlotte are great examples where they come in and they're super chill. They know what they need to do. They're coming here to the skate park. They're going to work. It's going to be what it is. And then we see the young ones, they come in and they're just on the deck next to them. That's nerve-wracking alone. You know, you're on a deck with the Olympic gold medalist and the Olympic bronze medalist, and you've never won a major competition.
Yeah, that is heavy. And I mean, like you say, being able to take all the emotions, like if you have a run that absolutely bombed, you're just going to be like, oh, what have I done? Like, I've ruined it. Like, my competition's over. And the experience will give you the ability to just write that off and go, you know what? I'm on it on this one. And it's being able to get to as many events as you can and just drop in and, like you say, come complete dead last. Absolutely ruin it and come top 5, top 3 and get up there on the podium. It's all the experience that you need to be able to become a great competition rider.
Exactly. And what I love about BMX, in that it's so different than any other sport, is that all these riders have to figure that out for themselves. If I want to be a lawyer, I take these steps, I go to school, I become a lawyer. If you want to be a professional competitive BMX rider, you have to figure it out yourself. You have to write your own blueprint. And that goes without saying that all of these women have literally written their own blueprint to get to this point, which is, these are 4 of the top female BMX riders in the world.
So first rider of heat number 2, Teresa Villegas. Like you say, one of 2 Colombians getting through to the final.
And they've got big tricks, starting things off with a nice 360 right there. Bar spin to X-up, 2-trick combo. That's the first 2-trick combo we've seen on that in the finals. Coming back the other way. Oh my gosh.
And like you said before, back-to-back tricks and hitting every ramp. We're already seeing why there's a difference between our lower 4 and our upper 4.
Exactly. Truck driver fly out right there. Truck driver is when you do a 360 and throw the handlebars 360. This is a great run for Queensrÿche. Bar spin fly out. We're still at 15 seconds. What else can she do? Tabletop.
I feel like there's plenty more as well.
Yeah, she's also got whips. Wow, that was awesome. Bar spin, one-handed fly. I don't know if I've ever seen that in a competition before.
Really well timed run there as well. Like,
yeah, they know. They've been working back in Colombia where they practice at 60-second intervals, where they really practice for 60 seconds. This was an awesome combination. She did multiple combos coming one way on the spine and coming the other way on the spine. I'm not a judge, but I'm going to say this has got to be in the top 3 already.
Yeah, for sure. And the bar is already set at 43.34. We're jumping up there as things go forward. Waiting for that score to drop in. And there you go. You said it.
Wow.
And quite far ahead as well so far in the grand scheme of things. You know, you can win by 0.1, right? And, you know, that's putting the lead and really standing head and shoulders above the rest so far.
Exactly. As you mentioned earlier, Mark, a lot of these women's game plan might have just changed with that last run. So
yeah, 100%. You're dropping in after that. You're like, okay, I was going to take it as quite chilled and get a score on the board, but now I don't have that luxury. I now have to throw everything in.
Exactly. I'm so excited to see this run. She had the run of her life 2 weeks ago, winning the World Cup in Montpellier, her first major win. She won it with her first run. Her second run, she had a bad crash, still ended up taking first place. So here we go. Starting off with a big backflip, Lizsurley. Again, this woman has so many tricks. 360 the spine. Tail whip into the bank. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, this is no messing around. This is full send at the moment, I think.
You're absolutely right. Now, the most important thing, she just needs to stay on this bike. Tire grab. Bar spin into the bank. Wow, this is an awesome run. The one-hander on the court. Again, 60 seconds is a long time, especially in that hot Spanish sun.
Yeah, 100%. That is going to be beating down on you and making every single one of those seconds almost like a punishment.
He's really throwing down. Nice bar spin on the quarter. Tire grab into the bank. 10 seconds. See what she got. Bar spin fly out. Tail whip, stick it. Yes! Oh my gosh, Mark. We have got ourselves a competition.
Yeah, things just went up another level, and I think the amount of tricks done was maybe, what, 5 or 6 more tricks than anyone else possibly.
I agree. This is definitely going to be a first place run. Starting things off with a big backflip. As we mentioned before, the box jump has a knuckle on it, where traditionally box jumps are flat on top. What that knuckle does is it adds to the danger factor, because if you tag the top of the landing coming in, you are so susceptible to having a really bad crash. I've seen collarbones break, and to start your run off with a backflip like that is,
look at that score.
Confidence out the gate. There you go, 50. Where are we at? 50.
80 points.
80. Oh wow, I couldn't see it. That's crazy.
Incredible.
So now the plot thickens, Mark. This is our Olympic gold medalist, your second place qualifier. She just watched 2 amazing runs, but this woman absolutely knows how to handle herself and handle that bike in the finals. So this should be interesting to see what we get out of UK Charlotte Worthington.
Yeah, I mean, that experience and being able to have that composure after watching a run like that go down is definitely going to help.
Here we go.
Wow.
720. That was a perfect 720.
Literally perfect.
Goodness. Holy cow. 360 turn down. Are you kidding me? Oh my, what is going on right now, Mark? Perfect flare.
Literally speechless, like just sat there with my jaw wide down. I'm just like, what are we watching going on?
Charlotte Worthington, and she's only been on the scene 3 or 4 years, started out as a scooter rider, easily one of the best park riders to ever come out of the UK, possibly the world.
Yeah, and really showing why that medal is in her possession right now.
Wow, she is absolutely throwing down. It's imperative she stays on the bike. 13 seconds. I think she knows. She's going to keep it chill.
Maybe taking a quick look at the time there. Just calling it. 5 seconds to go. Maybe just holding it back a little bit for run number 2.
Right?
Maybe, you know, just going, okay, cool. I'm just sussing it all out, feeling the course.
And she is the queen of keeping secrets in terms of having tricks that nobody knows that she's capable of. Look at this 720. Watch her back wheel.
Perfect.
Absolutely perfect. That is exactly how you, it doesn't get any more perfect than that. And to start your run with a 720, Mark, that just tells me she's got so much confidence and she's got this. So we're
like we saw from Liz, straight out the bat, 2 tricks that haven't been seen yet today. You know, and Charlotte came out straight away with the 7 and then the flare as well. So, you know, it's quite nice that the judges get to be wowed, like, you know, because you get worn down seeing the same tricks. We're seeing different tricks with every single run so far. That's incredible.
Exactly. So we've got a new leader, Charlotte Worthington, at the top of that list as we stand. But your number 1 qualifier, Olympic bronze medalist, and Switzerland rider, living in the United States, representing Switzerland, Nikita Ducarroz. Now, we've talked about consistency before. We talked about dead airs, scoring as much as you can on every obstacle. She is the queen of that. You're going to see so much constant action out of her, and we might even see some new stuff. So here we go with your number 1 qualifier, Switzerland's Nikita Ducarroz. Perfect backflip to start things off. Nice turn down air. First turn down air we've seen.
Straight back onto that big box jump.
360 X up, 2 tricks in 1 there. Nice 360 on the spine. I think might have been can-can as well. Great looking turn down. Yeah, one-handed tabletop. That was cool. X up transfer. Good landing on that one. 20 seconds. Tuck no-hander over the spine. We call it a tuck no-hander because she tucks her handlebars into her lap. One-hander over the box backwards. Let's see what she's going to end up with. She's still got some scoring opportunities. X up over the spine.
Coming down to that final 5 seconds.
Okay.
Solid run. Is it going to be enough to beat Charlotte at this point? I don't know. It's looking close. These last 3 riders, you can see why they are sat where they are. It's going through from qualifiers. They're just throwing multiple tricks down, probably getting 5 more tricks in than the first heat. And I mean, they're all getting scored, every single trick.
Exactly. And That's going to be super interesting to see, because where they place Nikita is going to dictate how these last 4 runs go. Will that be enough to knock out Worthington? I'm always wrong sometimes. That's why it's easier to be an announcer than it is to be a judge.
Yeah, hardest job in the game, judging, for sure.
They definitely have the hardest job in the game.
When you see them all shouting at each other, headlocks, judges brawl going on over the scoring.
So she needs an 85.1 or better. Score coming in for Nikita Ducarroz. They drop her into 3rd place.
That's 74.33. A little bit low, I think, but that's why I'm not a judge.
Right?
You know, it's so close, and it's those nuances you were talking about earlier, how you land the tricks, like landing on the pedals on whips, and, you know, not casing the landings and things. And I think there was maybe a few hang-ups on there that have just caused that score to be slightly affected there, because the judges really are that critical.
Agreed. So now this is going to be an awesome final. This might be one of the best female finals we've ever seen, these last 4 riders, because they all know what they need to do. The scores are up there. They know how the judges are scoring. They're all going to send it. They're all going to send it.
Yeah, 100%. Here comes run number 2 for Heat 2.
Lizsurley in. Nice. 360 tabletop. Tabletop on the quarter pipe. Great looking bar spin. They throw their handlebars so good. X up to X down is what that trick's called. One-footed table, yeah. Tail whip fly out. That will score. There's that truck driver again. Again, every time they trick a ramp, they're getting points.
Yeah, everything's scored, you know, and sometimes everything's being critiqued. So if you're going to wait or you're just going to turn around, you know, like those nothing airs you spoke about earlier, that is going to affect your score.
Exactly. 10 seconds left. Go on the bars again. Let's see what she's going to end up with. Call that one a fast plant, and that will do it. Lizsurley Villegas.
Another solid run, though. Really consistent. Great smooth landings as well. Real good flow.
And as we mentioned before, it's experience. The more times they get to compete at this level, the more calm they are, the more relaxed they are. And as we've seen in a lot of the bigger names, that it just takes practice. It takes, you know, going to these contests. Because again, when you involve the crowd as well, you could ride at your local skate park and have all your tricks down. As soon as that announcer announces your name and you hear the roar of the crowd, everything sometimes goes out the window.
Yeah, those knees start buckling, the nerves come in, your palms start sweating, and it all affects you, you know? Like your mental state when you roll in, or however, when you drop in, it has to be on what you're doing. And then almost it kind of disappears after that, but it's how you roll in is going to affect the rest of your run. Exactly.
Now, I've been announcing the twins for a couple of years. If I had to guess, she is definitely going to send it. We might even see a front flip here.
I really hope so. And I think at this point in the competition, seeing what scores have gone down, that's what it's going to take.
Starting things off, perfect backflip. Nice 360. Tail whip right to those pedals.
Yeah, super smooth.
Nice tire grab. Takes her hands off the handlebars, touches the tire with her hand. Big tail whip transfer. That was awesome. Got 20 seconds. This is where the heat really plays a role.
Yeah, coming to the end of that run, it really starts punishing you.
5 seconds on the clock. Tail whip air. Wow, she has those locked.
Solid back-to-back tricks on that one. I think that's going to improve from run number 1 for that score, but is it enough to get up there? We shall see.
Yeah, I mean, she had some big tricks, But again, Charlotte with that 720. And what's crazy is Charlotte's got so many more tricks in the tank. And that's the other thing these riders are well aware of, that, okay, if I do this that's going to beat Charlotte, she has this that can beat me.
Yeah, knowing that people have got a little something in the back pocket is dangerous, because you're like, you know what, I can step this up, but is it going to be enough if that person wants to throw out that trick I know is going to, you know, battle me? But it's always worth sending it, I think. Full send, just do it.
Yeah, but see, I agree with the full send, but, you know, these women have the second round of the World Cup in Brussels, Belgium at the end of the month. So this is going to be interesting now too, because Charlotte is currently in the lead. She knows how Nikita rides. What does she do here? Does she try and boost her score? Does she take a chill run?
And is she thinking that Nikita was holding back as well to maybe play a mind game, maybe?
That's the other thing as well. So we're going to see here, see what we got. Charlotte Worthington, run number 2. Another 720, perfect. 360 turn down. Great look at a flare. Flare is a 180 backflip. We call it a flare because it's half of a flare, half of a flip. Excuse me, half of an air, half of a flip. Great turn down transfer right there. Tuck no-hander into the wall. Turn down over the spine. And Charlotte's another one. She knows how to score, and she is very, very good at it.
Well, she's seen what how the judges have rewarded her for what she did first, so it's obviously obvious to go with what you know, but right. I'm wondering if we're going to see something special come in here at the end of this run.
I think she's going to chill. We've already seen a lot out of her. Like again, she's got a big month, so she's just going to chill. So now she's going to let Nikita Ducarroz try to play catch up. Again, your Olympic gold medalist. I got to send a big shout out to the Team GB coaching squad. They have Jamie Bestwick as their coach. Anybody that knows BMX knows that Jamie is arguably one of the greatest BMX riders of all time, easily the top 3 vert riders of all time. And well, no, he is the top 3. I was gonna say Mira, but he's a top 3. But having a coach like that behind you, having somebody that knows BMX behind you, and he works really hard with Team GB, and it's certainly been paying off. They got 2 Olympic medals to their record, and I don't know if Bestwick is out there. Do you see Bestwick out in Madrid, or is he coaching from home?
I haven't seen him. I used to do demos with Jamie way back in the day, and I used to just sit back and watch him just absolutely destroy the ramp, and it was so good to see. Him and Simon Tabron as well, and
yes.
You know, there's a legacy of British BMXers, and that's something to aspire to. You know, having that laid out in front of you, it's going to pull your level up, regardless whether you know it or not.
Absolutely. So speaking of pulling your level up, will this woman be able to level up and knock out your current first place, who is Charlotte Worthington? Nikita Ducarroz, your Olympic bronze medalist representing Switzerland. Let's see what she got. This could be really fun, Mark. Let's see.
Yeah, it looks pretty tense up on that rolling right now. Some bit of a concentration going on. I'm interested to see how this goes.
Here we go. Starting things off. Nice backflip over that big box. Nice bar air. Look back on the spine. 360 X up is what that trick's called. Tuck no-hander. She's working it. One-footed 360. Almost halfway through the run. Coming to the other side of the course. Turn down on the spine.
This looks a little bit stepped up from the first run at the moment.
She's going to need something big to counter that 720. Wow, there's an awesome one. That's got a suicide no-hander. Nikita can do no-handers both ways. You can pull your handlebars into your lap, which is called a tuck no-hander, or squeeze your seat. 540,
Really putting it out there on the 5, yeah.
She really did. She really did. She knew that she had to throw something down there. I don't think that had she pulled that 5, she would be able to knock out Charlotte. Charlotte's run was just way too powerful. I mean, obviously the score is so high, but not to take anything away from Nikita, she's still one of the greatest female BMX riders in the world.
Yeah, I mean, really, you could see, I think the backflip was a bit higher. A lot of the other tricks were, just executed a little bit better. So you could see it stepped up there, but then trying to throw that 5 in on the last was like, hey, I've got to put this in here now, otherwise I'm going to be knocked back.
You got a fun party ahead of you today, huh? You're just getting the day started.
Yeah, this is our first event of the weekend that we're doing live. We got plenty more to come, and also another Olympic qualifier. We got the breakdancing, which is the first for this weekend. So definitely stay tuned and see that. But I think I'm going to jump down onto the course and try and grab Charlotte for a quick interview. So I'll see you shortly.
Awesome. Have fun down there. Again, there is your C1 BMX Park Women Final from beautiful Madrid, Spain. Your top 3, Nikita Ducarroz, Lizsurley Villegas, and Charlotte Worthington walking away with the top spot. Incredible riding from all the females. And a big thanks to all of the fans. And be sure to check the YouTube page for all of the events for the men's final. So congratulations to our podium, and we will get to our podium in just a moment.
Well, here we go. Amazing. Thank you very much for joining me, Charlotte. That was a roller coaster, I think, from us in the commentating booth. How do you think that went for you?
It went pretty well. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thanks. I've been wanting to pull out that 720 for a while. This turned out to be the right comp. It's a super nice box for it. There was still a couple of things that I missed. The heat is tough. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with the overall result, for sure. Thanks.
I'm super stoked for you. And I mean, that heat is something to talk about because it is relentless. It has not switched off from about 11 o'clock today. How do you think that affected everything today?
I mean, it showed big time in practice. The last few days have been riding in the heat anyway. But today I started off real solid, did like a full 20 minutes, ticked off a load of stuff, and then boom, it just hit you. And everyone in the practice group just had to stop and cool down. So yeah, I was clinging on for that final.
Yeah, I don't think you were clinging on. I think you really put on a show today. You absolutely smashed it. Sticking those 7s every time, perfect. I mean, there's still more to come, I think, from you, and it's been a great thing to watch. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and thank you very much, and congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Awesome. Take care.
Tercera posición para Suiza, para Nikita Ducarroz. Hace entrega de la medalla Víctor Casanova, director de Madrid Urban Sports. Medalla de plata, segunda posición para Colombia, Lizsurley Villegas. Hace entrega de la medalla.
So there we have it, our top 3. Second place going through there. Even stood down there talking to Charlotte just then. The sun has absolutely beat me up. So I don't know how they've seen this whole thing through, an hour of punishment by the sun, and That first place medal going to Charlotte Worthington from Great Britain. Our gold medalist from the Olympics, and you can see why. Look at that smile, absolutely stoked. Our top three right there. And I think you'll agree that was an absolutely amazing competition. Seeing some tricks that we didn't expect. Maybe we were expecting to see a little bit more, but I think that went so good. And that was proper incredible. There's our finishing list right there. Corey in 8th place, Analia 7th, Teresa from 6th, Macarena in 5th place, Queen Seri in 4th, and our top three, Nikita 3rd place, Liz in 2nd, and 1st place going to Charlotte Worthington. 91 points even. That's a heavy score.
Bien, esa rotación de María de 5 separados. Qué bonito se ve educado. Luego tiene otro de así. España ahí. Esa, estirado ahí. Ronda primero 60 segundos. Jugándose. Vamos a ver. La caída del box. Miembro del equipo de la... Vamos a ver. A 2. No pude cantar. Buen aérea en el cuartel. Exacto. Nada. Ok, segunda. Vamos al volcano. Buena aérea en el cuartel. Así que 2, 1. Arriba Argentina con la arriba Zacharias. Wow, Banco Isa. Extra. Yes. Se va a ir a ver con este partido.
Se nos presenta un nuevo desafío. Lancémonos a por él. Saltemos más alto. Corramos más lejos, más rápido. Elevemos el listón. Sin regatear esfuerzos, energías o sacrificios. Juguemos en equipo como siempre hemos hecho. Sin importar género, edad, raza o condición. Todos unidos. Madrid, donde el deporte es capital.
En Imagine tenemos algo que confesar a la sociedad. No tenemos ni idea de lo que somos. No somos una red social, pero tenemos una gran comunidad. Tampoco somos una ONG, pero somos activos con el cuidado del medio ambiente. Tampoco somos un banco exactamente, al menos como tú te lo imaginas. Y es que en Imagine no sabemos lo que somos, pero hay una cosa que sí sabemos. Lo que hacemos. Imagine, somos lo que hacemos.
Don't need the light life is make-believe. You falling for their narrative. It's a lifestyle that you can't achieve, cause nobody really be perfect, but they making you feel worthless. Gotta go find what your worth is, then you gotta put your work in. I built this all from the ground up. 16, I got no love. Father moved to a new city. Knew then I had to man up. Got no time for that bullshit. Had to find what my truth is. I put my thoughts into my words. Now people everywhere use it, cause people been looking up to me. Can't control, but I gotta lead. Never post about drugs or money, cause that's not what I'm supposed to.